special. Sorry while I adjust this camera. As you know, I don't do these as often as I should. And quite frankly, I just don't have a lot of time to do this stuff. But with that said, I have a very special edition. Let's try to fix this. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist here, and I try to get it as decent lined up as crooked, so it's not as crooked. I see my little line of sight there. Okay, we'll go with that. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Welcome to a very special edition with your cheesy toy reviewer. Tonight, we're going to do something really what I think is going to be neat. And we're going to do a unboxing of a G1 Megatron. And I'm going to do some restoration on it in the same video. Now, I know some people are going to be like, oh, geez, dude, what up? What are you doing, man? Leave that shit alone. I can't do that. I've been practicing on restoring boxes and patching up old toys. And I'm getting a little better at it. I'd say I've gotten a lot better at it, actually. And I finally feel comfortable doing this video. I didn't want to do this video for a while until I felt like I was okay with it. But I think it's finally time for it to get done. And first things first, and I'm very happy because this is like a masterpiece in my collection as of now. I have a decent amount of Transformers in my collection, but you know, it took a while to get this put together. I had to piecemeal it, and I finally got what I consider just an absolute gem of a toy. And you are looking at, my friends, a Generation 1 Megatron. I know, right? It's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, look at the chroming on that gun. They got the plasma cannon and the old G1 box. It is just an absolute stunner of a toy. And if you're a fan of Transformers and you collect Transformers, this is definitely up there in, we'll say the top priority list of toys you're going to try to go for. However, there are some issues, specifically with the box. The figure itself, there are some issues which I'm going to work on fixing. However, we're going to just start with the box tonight, and you can see, like if you look right here, got a crack in the box right there, and if you look down here, you got some right there in the corners like that. Got some pitting right there. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do about all that. I could touch up some of this and I can fix up some of this. I'm going to fix this box up the best I can without ruining the integrity of the box itself. As you can see up here, right up here, right there. Side paneling right there. Got the sticker right there. And if we look back here, okay. I don't know if it's hard to see right there, but if you see you got where the tape was. And you see where the tape is over here. And there's a little pitting on the side over here. And if you look all along here, right there. See there? See that? That's kind of ugly. You still got some of the tape there. And, you know, as I pointed out, some pitting, some issues with the corners. Now, there's a lot of work that has to be done to this. A lot of work that has to be done to this before I can get it in what somewhat prestigious shape. Will I be able to get this in mint condition? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no way I'm going to be able to restore this to like when it came out, in factory. Just not going to happen. However, I can give this a nice makeover and really make it look nice and a lot cleaner than it already does. Let's see if I can move this back a little bit here, because really it's a big package here. That's what she said. No, never mind. No, it's a big box. It's probably, well, the dimensions are different, but it's a large box, much like the Optimus Prime box. And as you see right here, see right there, it has a natural tendency to bend down to the left, which isn't uncommon on these old G1 boxes, because a lot of them, they came, if you look there, with those little pull aparts right there. And just, over time, I mean, you got to keep in mind this box is from what, 1983, 1984. It's an old box. A lot of time. I will say this though, overall, all considering, the box itself is in pretty solid shape. But before we get to any fixing or touching up or anything like that, first let's unbox this bad boy because it deserves it. So we're gonna go in here, pull this open like this. And right there, bam. Let me pan that camera down for you. Beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. As you see, you got your Walther P38 here. Let's take the figure out. Chrome is pretty nice. There are some problems with the figure in itself. There's some little scratches here and there in the black. I don't know if it comes off at your end here, but you can see it. And if you look, you can see some scratches in the chrome. I'm hoping that's something I can fix. And this sticker's still here, right there like this. The instruction manual is in pretty decent shape. See? I mean, you got a little crease there. And you can open it up here, but even if you open it up, it's not a bad shape. See? Oh, look at that. See? Right there like that. But right there, the instruction manual for Megatron. And also, when it came with this, it also came with how to hook up the gun piece. Right there. It's pretty simple. Very self-explanatory. A lot of it just slides on. And this is used, for those that don't know, you should if you're a fan of Transformers, but you can go back here and this will read the barcode on the back. It doesn't come off very well on camera, but it's there. You can see the line. In fact, I would have to say, looking at it from my end here, it's probably not going to show up on camera, but it's there. You, of course, have your stock pieces here. This is the scope, which also becomes Megatron's plasma cannon. This is the attachment here. It goes on the front. It's looking nice. All the pieces on here, I surprisingly as it was, I got this off from Versasi. Great site. You can get some really good bargains there. That's on there. Let me just take that off. That's part of the styrofoam. But it's nice and clean. If you look at the stock piece right here, like that, see? It's there. And of course, Megatron's gun. And the chrome on this is nice. There's some little dirty areas like right there. However, all in all, very nice piece with all the accessories to it. Overall, it's a very nice piece altogether. The one thing I will point out, and I don't think there's anything I can do about this, is right here. See that? Little piece of the styrofoam missing. And other than replacing the styrofoam, which I guess if I was skilled enough to mold it out and try to put that together and glue it back on, I guess I could do that, but I don't think I am. Honestly, the best bet would be at some point would be just to replace the styrofoam piece all complete together. I do not have the stickers though, however, for Megatron. And the poster that came with it. Do not have that. Or the little baggie. And that is on the to-do list. But as you can see, I have a lot of the major components that, you know, if you're looking to put a Megatron together, it's here. So we're going to just put the plasma cannon back. Like that. I'm just going to put this here, back up here. Like this, like that. And the reason why I'm not going more into the figure itself is mainly because I want to focus on the box restoration tonight, which is almost as important, if not as important, as the figure itself. Anyone will tell you that finding a pristine Megatron box is, first off, hard in itself to get in the first place. But if you do, you're paying a pretty penny for it. But of course, this stuff here is just as important, obviously. But the box itself, it's super important as far as the value goes. And a box alone in mint shape, well, that's going to easily run you hundreds of dollars, if not more. So, what we're going to do is, we're going to try to work on the box a little bit tonight. And see, let me move this camera back a little bit. Pull it back a little bit here. We're going to try to get this box in better shape. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is get rid of this excess tape and the stickers. Now, before I do that, let me show you the tools I'll be using. Lighter fluid. Cheap stuff. $4.49. This is a miracle worker. This will save you a lot of trouble, and it does a lot of things for restoring old toys. It removes old stickers, it cleans old boxes up, and it kind of gives it a nice little shine. Does a lot of things. So, lighter fluid, paper towels, Q-tips. It doesn't matter whether you use generic or regular, whatever. Q-tips are always handy to have. Right here. So I got myself a nice little handful of Q-tips. And I got my little repair box. And what we're going to be using in this tonight is these 4 markers right here. And a paintbrush. These little paintbrushes here, a little cheap little paintbrushes, you can pick up like a pack of like 50 of them, 30 of them, whatever, for a few bucks. And it's worth investing if you're going to restore toys into a nice array of markers like this. I picked up a pretty decent set. And I spent about $25. They're on sale for 25 bucks. It was a nice little set of markers. But we're only going to be using primarily a few of them tonight. We're going to be using, right there, I have a color code. And this is important. So I want to show you real quick. This is important. So I'm going to be using this to match up the colors of the box. See, now if you notice with the Megatron box, you have purple. And then if you go down here, you have a lighter shade of purple, which would be violet. And depending how far you go, it could go as low as grape. I did pull out the lilac marker just in case, but I don't think I'm going to be using that too much. But those are pretty much the tools I'm going to be using tonight to try to work on this box. And the first thing we're going to work on is getting the stickers off the box. And if you've collected old toys, you know what this is. Old stickers that were used to price the toy itself at the store. And in this case, this was at Montgomery Ward. Of course, that store, I think that store's out of business. It's been in business for some time. And it was $20.99. Pretty pricey toy back then for what it's worth. So we're going to want to get rid of some of these stickers, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, please forgive me here, over there, we're going to want to get rid of that piece of tape. That piece of tape's got to go. So I know what some of you are thinking, like, how are you going to get rid of those stickers? What are you going to do? How's that even possible? How you're going to tear the paper, you know, the original decal or whatever images off the box. Sorry. If you try to rip that off, and you're right, if I just went whoosh, chances are I'd rip off some of that, and it would definitely ruin the value of the box. But, and I've learned this watching many tutorials on how to do this, so it's not like I can take credit for this for myself. With some lighter fluid, you can work miracles. So, I'm going to take my little Ronson lighter fluid, and the first thing I'm going to do is take this piece right here, because the lighter fluid will not, and I know you probably may have doubts, but the lighter fluid will actually not ruin the value, will not ruin anything. The lighter fluid dissolves fairly quickly. So we're going to take the lighter fluid. That was the easy one. Now granted, that could have ripped some paint off. But with lighter fluid, it goes away. And trust me when I tell you, I know you see, look at that. And you're saying, oh, geez, look at that stain. No, that lighter fluid will go away quickly. This stuff dissolves quickly. Now comes the challenging one here. And this is this guy right here. This guy's going to be a bit more difficult. Luckily for my sake here. So part of the end was torn already. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak it up real nice and good. Rub it in a little bit. Tear it a little bit. You gotta be careful when you're doing this. Patience is a key. Patience is a key because look, keep in mind, this sticker is really old. And you have to really let the lighter fluid just corrode away at that glue here. So we're going to take a little more. So we're going to do like this. Like that. See, it's almost off. And I'm going to take this and wipe away some of the excess stuff. Just because. Like I said, though, the lighter fluid, though, will not hurt this at all. And we're going to... Can I get it off now? Okay. I got it off now. Look at that. Sticker is gone. Sticker's gone. And just to show you just what I mean, remember on the other side where the tape was? How it had that like absorbed look? It's just about gone. Right there. So. And the same thing will happen on this side too. Same thing will happen on this side too. Now what you'll see is we have some residue left over. And what we're going to do is, and this in general, sorry, dealing with a bit of a cold, is good for cleaning the box too. I don't know if you saw in the beginning of the video, there were some like little taped areas where, sorry, like for example right here, see right there? So we're going to take some lighter fluid. We're just going to rub the box a little bit and give it a good cleaning. And try to get that cleaned up as much as possible. It'll give it a nice little shine too. And you'll see some of the grime coming off. This box is very old. So we're going to just basically give this a good cleaning. You can even take it and clean the whole box like this if you want. And this will not hurt. This will not hurt. Box, as you see, it's not stripping away anything. It's just basically cleaning it up. And I know it's not coming out perfectly as far as like those light trace lines, but it is making it, giving it a nice little polish. See how much shinier it is now compared to before. And so we're just gonna really give this box a good bathing. We're going to give this box a good bathing here, from here, right over here. And we're going to go in the back here. Hopefully I can get this off here. Let's try to. See right there. Try to get that off. So, and don't be cheap with the lighter fluid. It's not going to kill it. See, like if you look right there, it's already kind of dissolved. You're going to just give this a good rub down. And it's not, I promise you, as you see right here, I'm as skeptical when I first saw this as anyone else about doing this. But I promise you, this will not hurt the integrity of the box. And I promise you, it will be fine. If anything, it'll just kind of make it look nicer. So here's where we took off the major sticker right there. See there? You can see the print mark. And I'm hoping we can get rid of that. I'm going to take a little lighter fluid. Like that. Get that a good rub down right there. And look at that. Gone. Just absolutely gone. So, I gave this good box a good rub down here. I would like to, let me try that one more time. I would like to get rid of that. It'd be nice if I could. If not, I'm not going to push the issue. As I said, I don't really want to, you really, especially when you're dealing with valuable boxes, you got to be careful with how far you push things. And I think that's just done. I think I'm stuck with that forever. I think I'm stuck with forever. That's okay though. I can live with that. So, now what? Now what are we going to do? You're maybe thinking to yourself, are we going to start coloring this in? Because as you see, there's a lot of little potch marks and little areas where there's like white right there. And you're going to really want to get rid of that. See right there, so on and so forth. What are we going to do with that? Well, and I know this may make some people nervous, especially on a valuable box like this. The next thing we're going to do is iron. What? That's right, you heard me. I said iron. We're going to iron the box. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to plug in my iron first. Give it some heat. Oh no, this isn't good. I have to unplug the lights and no, how's that going to work? No, that's not going to work. Here we go. Alright, so iron right now, as of now, is heating up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the lighter fluid. All this other stuff here. And we're going to need plenty of space. I don't know if you hear that. That's the iron in the background. So we're going to need plenty of space here. Remove these markers that we're going to be using. And let me move my drink because I'm having a drink right now. Can you hear that? Look at that. That iron is like sizzling. First thing you're going to want to do is place it on a stable stable top here. And using that cloth there doesn't work for me, so I'm going to be placing it on top of this. I don't know if you noticed, I took a cardboard box, a Room Essentials box. Oh, sorry. I took a Room Essentials box and I cut it. So laid it out like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Megatron box itself and we're going to, here's the risky part. This is a gut check time here. You're going to lay this out flat like this. Like this. See this? That Megatron box is laid out flat. And it is ready to be ironed. Oh, I forgot that spot. I'll have to get that spot later or afterwards. That's okay. Okay, so you lay it out flat. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab a piece of parchment paper. Like this. So you can grab your parchment paper, right? Now I'm going to try to avoid this area here, where the clear plastic is. We don't want to go near that area. You don't want to risk melting the plastic that's holding that together. But we're going to take the iron, right? Just going to start by ironing. Pressing it. Okay. Pressing it hard like that. Don't be afraid to use a little steam. It won't hurt it, I promise you. And I was just as scared to do this as anyone else. But after practicing on a couple test boxes, and I highly recommend you do that if you're going to like go this route towards things. It works wonders. It really does. And so we're going to do that. And what it does is basically it restores the box to its old former self. So I'm going to take it to this side. I'm going to be a little more careful on this side because as you see, I got the plastic right there. So I'm really going to try to avoid too much of that inside area. So I'm going to kind of just go like this. All right. And here is the big part here. It's part, and you see the plastic. I don't know if you see it over there, but it's kind of steaming up. And like I said, I wanted to avoid that purposely. So, but this is one of the important parts here. I want to try to get the Transformers logo on top of the box to stand up erect. So we're going to take that, and you see, parchment paper protects it. And then we're going to finally, and you don't want to be chintzy with the parchment paper. The stuff doesn't cost a lot of money. And it's just worth it. You don't want to reuse the same piece too much. In this area, I'm going to be particularly careful on. I'm pretty much just going to work on this little crease area here at the end here. Line that up here. So I'm going to work on that. So that kind of. So like I said, I don't want, if possible, to bend that. I don't want this to lose its glue. All right, so now, oh geez Louise, here I go. My little camera follies. And I get a little better with them, but yeah, I still have them. So what I'm going to do now is work on these corner pieces here. See, like this. And you don't want to apply firm pressure. You don't want to go nuts on it, but really, you don't be afraid to give it a little pressure. It's not going to hurt it, I promise you. So you apply some firm pressure on it. And we're going to flip this over this way, like this. And I forgot to show you the beforehand. And what the box beforehand was, it was erect. However, it was a little warped. And that's why I'm doing this in the first place. And I'm hoping by the time I'm done with this, we'll be seeing a really nice almost factory restored box. Now I'm gonna flip it over. See, gotta do both sides. So I'm gonna take both sides here like this. So I'm gonna take, and again, you gotta keep in mind. So what you're gonna want to do is now, because if you, I know this sounds crazy here, but you know, kind of flip it over like. This is a little risky here. So I might not even mess with this. However, this we can do securely and safely. So we're gonna take the parchment paper again, and this is an area I really wanted to work on. Let me show you. This is the area where it's kind of like really creased in there pretty badly. You know, it's hard to miss that. So what I'm gonna want to do is give a little steam. And you don't have to be, you know, just, you don't want to go too crazy with the steam, but a little bit's not going to hurt it. So we're going to give it a quick little run over here. And I think, let's see, I'm doing some debating here. Yeah, go over a little more. Just in case. We're going to give it a little steam again. Just try to make sure this gets in nice and tight. And hopefully by the time we're done, I'm going to grab one more piece of parchment paper because we got a little more work to do here. Parchment paper just flew everywhere. So we're going to take the parchment paper here and we're going to go like this. A little steam. Like that. We're going to go to the other side. Like this right here. And let's see. I can't promise you this is going to give me the results I'm hoping for, because I am doing this live for the one person that may be watching. It appears that way. But that's okay. That's okay. And you know what? Let me just do a quick run over this. I'm not going to go nuts with it. I'm not going to risk it too much. Okay. So, box is ironed. I unplugged it, let the iron cool off. And we're done with the iron, so it's not like we have anything else to do with it. And afterwards, when all is said and done, I think it did work. You're going to have, let's see, put this box together. Okay, on this side, something right there, and we're gonna take the styrofoam, put it back in, get the styrofoam piece, like that, close it up, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Look at that. I want to show you, just so you know, if you remember, that top piece did not stand up on its own at all. At all. The box looks a little crisper, a little tighter on this side. And on this side. And as you can see, this box is in a lot better shape than it was before. This being the important part. I will be right back. I apologize. I have to get up for a second here. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for the whole one viewer that is watching, and that's okay. It's not important how many people are watching. It's as long as you're enjoying it, right? So, what I want to do now is, let's go back here. I want to go back and track up on some of the area I thought I missed here, so I could find it. Okay, right there. See that? That did not completely go away. And it looks like that didn't completely go away. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get that to go away completely. However, we are going to give it the effort. See what happens. So we're going to take more lighter fluid. And we're going to go here. We're going to give this a good rub down. All right, and I think that might have done it. Oh no, there's still a little there. See, that's gone. That's being stubborn. That is being stubborn. So, and I think I can get it. So I'm going to give it a little more try, a bit of a try here. I'm going to take that, because it looks like it's leaking up a little bit. I'm going to take it and give it a quick rub down. No, it doesn't look like it. I'm maybe stuck with that, just like I may be stuck with this. I am going to, however, try this one more time after I gave it the iron, just to see if the ironing loosened things up. Loosen that glue up a little bit from the tape. Okay. And as you can see, that is not loosening up. And we just might be stuck with that. And that's okay. Already, though, an improvement on this box. Already improvement on this box. I got rid of, as you saw, the 2 pieces of tape, old stubborn tape. Let's get this over here. Let's see. Right there. And if you see, more importantly, the back, that's standing up. That is standing up, and that is super important because that definitely looks much more appealing than when it's all flopping to the side and it just doesn't look right. So, where's my drink? I need to sip of my drink. We're done with the ironing. We're done with the sticker removing. And now we're going to delve into a riskier area of doing this. Let me see if I can find my color chart. As you see, I folded my color chart to match the logical colorings of the Megatron box. So I got purple, violet, grape, lilac, and lavender. I doubt I'm going to need lavender or lilac at all in this. Most likely, I think I'll be using purple and violet and black. Right there. Black. Just plain old simple black. And we're going to start off with the easy stuff first here. So what we're going to do is, and we're going to put this camera in a little bit. We're going to go down because we're going to be getting into a bit more detail on the box itself. So you'll see in a second. We're going to start with the easy stuff, and that's black markering. So you'll notice right down there, see right there, see all the cracking in that box? What I like to do is, and not everyone does this, but I like to do this personally, is I like to have my little cheap little paintbrush handy, and you're just gonna kind of dot it in. So you're gonna go like this. Rub it in. Rub it in. Rub it in. Rub it in. And I know you're thinking, well, A, why are you markering up the box? Because if you do it the right way, it's going to be almost impossible to notice unless you really take a good look at it and micromanage it. I don't plan on reselling this. So I could do this with confidence in knowing that I'll be happy with just the restoration project alone. Do note that if you do decide to do this, you risk the possibility of reselling, especially if you do a piss poor job. If you do a good job, you might be able to make more money off it. However, the honest thing to do is, and really, if you don't do it, you're just kind of like a douche, is if you do decide to resell this stuff, if you do any restoration work, you say up front you did. So now if you notice, it's disappearing, and it does. It blends in. Take a little paintbrush and you blend it in. Because what happens is when you first lay the paint down, or the marker down, is for like a quick second or so, you have the opportunity to move the ink. And if you do it just quick enough, you can kind of blend it in so it looks more in tune with the box itself. And I find it comes up with like some pretty neat results. And as you see, like right there. So right there. I don't know if you can see up front. If I zoom in a little bit here. Oh, it's not going to let me zoom in. That's okay. I'll pull it up to you. See right there. See where all that white line was? You don't even notice it. And as I said, you'd have to be really hard pressed to look at it to find it. Oh, geez, I just marked my white tablecloth. Well, that's fantastic. That's okay. I guess that's the sacrifice you pay. So I'm going to keep... And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do it in areas where you know it's not too risky off first hand. So like see how I'm doing it in areas where it's just strictly black. I don't have to really worry about any kind of danger. You do it at your comfort level. And you go, as I said, I'm not going to get this box to be restored perfectly, but I will try my best to make it look a lot nicer than when I've got it. So I'm going to keep this up here. And I'm not going to do a whole video with this. I would have really, it's going to take me hours to do this. To spend time here and do this correctly. But I just want to show you some of the procedures here. So you get an idea of what I'm doing here. And you know what I'm talking about. And you're going to want to invest in good. What's up, Neymar? What's going on, man? Thanks for popping in. I hope, I'm restoring an old G1 Megatron box. This thing was kind of warped and twisted, but I kind of got it back in prestigious shape here. Just, I don't know if you want to take a look at it there. Right there. Hold on, let me pull this back here. Hope you're doing well, Neymar. Neymar is an old good buddy of mine. Played a lot of games Friday the 13th with. Really cool peeps. So, Anyways, so we're going to get back to business here. So we're going to, let me fix this tripod here, as I'm not the best with this stuff, so you're going to have to just bear with me. So if you see, I'm going to take it and just basically dab it on as I go. Dab, swipe, dab, swipe, dab, swipe. And you keep doing this. And you keep giving it a run over here. What's new with you, Neymar? What have you been doing yourself? Nice of you to pop in. I don't have a lot of old friends from my gaming days popping in, but it's good when they do. I used to go into the Cheesy Gamer, and I used to do video game streaming, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Eventually, just kind of got burnt out on it, but who knows? I'm not saying I won't ever do it again, but for the time being, I'm happy not doing it. All right, now look at that. Look at that. You remember what it looked like before? For those that were watching, look at that. See that white line that is right there is virtually gone. And you use a black marker, and it blends in perfectly because, as you see, it's a black box. And you're gonna, and it really, like I said, unless someone really took it under with a fine-tooth comb, took it to a microscope or a magnifying glass to see the marker mark, they're not going to know. They're just not. Because from the naked eye, it's going to look clean. So I'm going to do this one line here, and then I'm going to move on to some of the purple areas, because that's some more of the dangerous areas of restoring this box. It's a little bit more riskier. Black's easy to do. See, you can just do this all day, and no one will notice the difference. No one will notice the difference. So we're going to just dab, paint, dab and paint, dab, dab. Just get that in there nice and good. See how it just basically blends in with the box. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Here, look at that. Now, if you remember, there was a line that was going directly across that was clear as day, and now it's barely even noticeable. If you notice at all, I have to turn it into the light for you to notice it. See how you could turn it into the light there? But from the naked eye, it's barely even noticeable. So we're going to touch up, say, this area over here. And you want to be careful to get too close. See how there's the natural lines there of the boxing? It's a little risky messing with that. So I'm going to get as close as possible as I feel comfortable without actually infringing on it. And, you know, you're just going to have to sometimes deal with the fact that the box may have some imperfections. And look at that. That little area looks 100%. Well, not 100%, but you know what I mean. A lot better. And as I said, you know, I could do this I could spend hours just on this alone. We do not have hours. I don't have hours. You don't have hours. So we're gonna just to move on, just to make the point, we're gonna move along to, say, the purple areas. So I'm gonna, be done with my black marker for now. But I will continue this after I'm done shooting. And what I will do is I will give you what a before and after type thing, so you see what it looks like after it was done. And if you watch this video, you'll have it before. So what we're going to do is, we're going to look here, and you're going to see little white lines here. And this, I do believe, is appropriate. See, this would be purple. This little area right here, up there, that'd be like more purple. I think this will fit along nicely with grape. We'll try it and we'll see what happens. I don't know, can't promise, but we're going to basically, same concept here. I'm gonna dab and paint. Dab, brush. Dab, brush. dab brush. Oh, did I grab the right one? No, did I? You know, this is the grape, I think. Oh, that might be a little too dark. Might be a little too dark. So let's go. And again, I don't fear screwing this up too much because, as I said, I'm keeping this for myself. I'm not selling this. So we're going to go just, let's try this. Try this. I don't know if that's going to work too well. Alright, that's still a little too dark. Let's go with the lightest setting I have here. We'll go with lavender, I believe, here. Let's go here. Oh, that might be perfect. Look at that. I think that works just fine. It kind of doesn't overpower the box. So we're going to take, let's see, like right there. Let's see, right there. And let's see what happens. So, okay, let's see. And if you're worried about the overcoloring or the overpowering, let's say you go over mark a little bit, you can always dilute it a little bit. So you're going to take the miracle of the lighter fluid, right? And just go like this. And it'll kind of blend it in a little lighter. It's not going to completely get rid of it. Let's see. Let's try this area over here. It'll be right there. See how the lavender. Okay, so I think I found the perfect. Well, not the perfect substitute, but right there. But a more comparable. Let's say the darker purples for here. So right there, blend it in just a tad bit. So I'm going to take this right there. If not anything, because as you see right here, and it's my fault there, and I'm okay with that. I toyed around with some areas, and it worked on some areas of the box, but as you can see, the markers is a tad bit too dark right there. So I decided to go with more of a lavender color there. So, and it seems to be fitting in a little bit better. See, right there. All right, see how that right there looks a bit better. So we're going to try to take this lavender and dab it in on the side. And really, this is more about patience more than anything else. As you can see, like I just did that little area. See how it looks that much better? You can still see the white line a little bit if I pull it up closely. But apparently, if I go any color darker than this, it's not gonna look as good. You don't want to really, like I said, you don't want to ruin the integrity of the package itself. Which some may argue I kind of already did, but that's okay. I don't mind. I plan on keeping this for a long time, and this isn't going anywhere. So as long as it looks better to me, I'm trying to think. So let's see. So you just kind of dab it there, dab it there. Just tiny little dabs. You really. I'll take a quote from Bob Ross here. He used to say in some of his paintings, just a tiny, tiny little tap. You barely want to touch it. And if you touched it too much, if you feel like you've pushed too hard, then you touched it too much. See, that's what I mean. So, all right, here's a perfect example. See, I'm trying to get see that little spot right there? I want to cover that up. So, right there. Now, I tried swiping it away, and as you see, the color is still fresh. So, I'm just going to leave that alone. And I'm going to put that right there. See? This little touches up. And this, I would, but it's on the line and it's not. You don't want to screw around with it too much. You just don't. You can touch up what you can, fix up what you can, and then just settle for what it is. But as you can see, you can take like this, that, kind of blend it in a bit. See how much nicer that looks? Now I realize, like I said, you're gonna have that little line there. It's there. It's kind of noticeable, but it just looks a lot nicer than it did before. And you can always go back and put more on it if you want. So, like for example, I could do that. I could darken it up a little bit, but I don't want to darken it up too much. You gotta be very careful when you start messing around with colors on these little boxes, because if you mess around with it too much, see, kind of putting it like there. So it is kind of darkened up a little bit. See, I don't know. I may take let me see what happens if I take a little lighter fluid to that, just see if it lightens up a little bit. See if we get the perfect combination. Deal on the lighter fluid like that. See if that kind of softens it up a bit. We'll see what happens once it completely dries. Yeah, it kind of looks like it kind of made it before. So I was just doing that to show you an example as you can darken it up, but you just got to be careful. You don't want to, in fact, I think maybe I did too much there, I mean, I don't think it looks terrible. Let's see. Now the main problem here is, I think, is there's too much of the material itself exposed. Like that. But drop in a little bit of color. And patience. Patience is a virtue. See, look how much nicer that looks. Look how much nicer that looks. Let's see if I can even that out. I thought I would try to. That's okay. Let's take that and do it like that again. Again, because lighter fluid does not really, it doesn't damage the box at all. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so, and you'll see once that dries out, So, okay, once that dries out, see how it kind of like diluted a little bit. So it's kind of like that. Let me see if I can find more areas where. See, the problem here when doing these corners like this is too much of the white is exposed. But if you go to like some smaller areas, I think like this, for example, see that right there? All right. Let's see. So we'll go like, let's see right here. I think I'm starting to. That's markers. Is this marker already drying out on me? Jeez Louise. The hell you say, man? I just. Maybe this is why they're on sale. Anyways. So. Let me try. I think maybe, just maybe, this marker might be drying out on me a bit. Let me try this side. So we'll take this. Okay. All right. I think this marker is dried up on me already. And that's a shame because I really wanted to show you a little more. Let me, however, I think what I can do though is, because this is a bit of a darker purple, I might be able to go this route. This is a bit of a darker purple up here, so let's see what happens if I do that. Alright, that might be a little too dark. God damn my lavender. The lavender marker is crapped out on me, so I'm gonna have to. That's the beauty about this lighter fluid. Again, this stuff is amazing. So you just take it and wipe it down like that. It lightens up instantly. See how much that lightened up right there. Now again, you gotta let the lighter fluid kind of wear itself off a bit, but you see how it's gone. All right, I'm not sure if I can do much further. Well, I guess I could take my black marker and do a little more here up the top here. So if you take the black marker, you'll see how black's the safest. Really, the black is the safest color you're going to be able to work with here. I need to invest in some more lavender markers if I'm going to continue to do this. I'm not going to continue to like mess around with it just to screw it up. But as you can see, black marker. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Blah blah blah. Okay. See how this is up here. Not going to notice a thing. So it's all about color matching to the best of your ability with the box. And piecing it together and trying to make it look good. And like I said, I can really take this black marker and do a decent job with it. And I'm going to continue to do so, but I'm going to get another lavender marker because lavender seems to be the color where I could get the most done with. I'm not going to screw around and mess with these darker markers. I mean, I know lighter fluid it works well, but we don't want it to be the end-all be-all solution. We want to do it right. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the unboxing. I will be working on the figure itself. There's some little areas here, some little scratches that I'm going to be addressing. But all in all, I have to say I'm pretty happy with my purchase, and I'm pretty happy with the restorations I made tonight. I think they came out pretty decent. I hope you all have a good night, and thank you for tuning in. Let's see. One last glorious shot there. G1 Megatron right there. And its beauty right there. Anyways, have a good night. God bless you all.